Hello, party people of the world. You're here with Danny and Evan on the first cut. How's it going, Evan?
Hey.
Hey. What are we doing today, buddy?
Post-hardcore.
That's what we're doing.
Post-hardcore.
Post-Nard Snores. We're going to go ahead and kick things off with the band Snag, the album Snag, and the song Flowers in the Springtime. And then in parentheses for David Buckle. Evan, how you doing today, buddy?
Just fine.
Are you sure?
Yes.
How sure?
3 sure.
That's not that sure.
3 sure out of 5.
Yeah, true. So I want to take a minute to talk about post-hardcore in general before we start talking about this band, because I think there's kind of, despite the fact that I think post-hardcore is a bit of a nebulous genre, a little bit of a nebulous genre, I think there are still misconceptions about what it is and what it isn't, for that matter. But I think a lot of people naturally, when they think of post-hardcore, they gravitate towards metal. And that is like one of the very few things that I would say no, it is not. Does it have some metal tones? Maybe. Yeah, sure. Could it go into territories of metal? Yeah. Okay. But it definitely is not metal. Sorry, one sec. I'm getting my water championship on. Post-hardcore.
Sponsor us.
As sponsor us or fight us. Aquafina. Post-hardcore, as all post-genres are, is derived from hardcore, and hardcore is derived from punk. Hardcore kind of stemmed in the wake of the advent of punk to be a much more intense, visceral form of punk, whereas, punk was more political, fuck the man, this, that, and whatever. Hardcore was more...
Well, I'd say that punk. So it's like, you have the Clash and early punk and like Ramones and shit. But then
Sex
Dead
Pistols.
Kennedys, we're like hey, we want people to get hurt at our shows, and we want to really say fuck you to the government, really say some shit that's gonna piss people off. And so I think that's where hardcore I guess came out.
And hardcore, was more of in my opinion, I'd say it was more of like a driven, visceral version of that, where the music was more taken to an extreme than the message necessarily. And that's, I think, why a lot of people, when they think of hardcore, they go, yeah, metal. Because, metal's hard, hardcore is hard, hardcore must be metal, which is not true. There's a lot of fucking really rough, heavy genres that are not metal. Hardcore is just a phenomenal example of which we covered grindcore, and I think we talked about this a little bit in that grindcore actually was like the culmination of hardcore and metal, but it leads more into hardcore than metal. Leans more into hardcore than metal. Wow, this is taking
really
a while to fucking really buffering hard.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So I guess when I think of post-hardcore, I think of its origins or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I definitely think of the late 90s.
For sure.
I don't know if I can. I'm definitely not an expert with post-hardcore, but I think definitely at the drive-in we're one of the most famous and well known.
There's fucking Husker Du and
and so and bands like that, and I don't know. I guess I think about the post prefix in any musical genre, and I think about what it means, and I don't know if there's a ton of homogeneity, so to speak. I don't know if there's a lot of if it means the same thing for every genre, but generally when I think let's say post rock or post punk or post hardcore, I almost want to say, and I haven't really put a lot of thought into this, but I almost want to say that
I have an opinion on it, but I'll let you say your thing.
Yeah, I almost think that the post prefix almost suggests a more introspective and like emotional, visceral like connotation to the music. Because I think like when post-punk, you think of like Joy Division, it's like they took punk, but they made it way more sad and like introspective and depressing.
I would say that there's definitely an element of that. My big thing, the way I feel it, and to be fair, I've seen a lot of people say this as well, so this is not like uniquely my opinion, but the big thing with post is that it's more of a divergent of whatever the thing you're talking about is. So it's a way of saying like we're going to broaden and become more than just what this is. So it's interesting that like it's certainly not like, I mean, by its definition, I would say it's kind of progressive in that way, but not progressive in the sense that you would refer to it musically. But yeah, adding post typically kind of means more like we are rooted in that, but we're spanning out to become more than what that is in whatever way seems to make sense. And that's why you see a lot more emotional post-hardcore than hardcore. You see a lot more stuff that's like technical or jazzy or fucking
it's like
add some ska or whatever. Like there's all sorts of variants. And post-hardcore I've seen used a lot to describe most mid-noughties emo bands as well. And for a long time I didn't get that. But if you accept that that is like the greater definition, I could see it. So like, granted, when I think of post-hardcore, I think of, the bands we talked about. I think of like The Fall of Troy. I think of, I mean, I wouldn't say Converge, but
I would just call. I would think they're metalcore.
Yeah, exactly.
They definitely like really took the metal thing and ran with it.
Metal thing, yeah, pretty hard. But yeah, which of course that's a whole other fucking thing we can talk about. That's gonna be a whole other list at some point. But yeah, I think of like, I've heard a lot of people say bands like oh well, Hawthorne Heights, like they're post-hardcore, and for a long time I was like,
emo,
really? And if you use that kind of broad paintbrush, I could see it, but I do definitely think that it's more emo than post-hardcore.
Speaking of emo, it was really cool to hear that My Chemical Romance had a.
I've heard My Chemical Romance be called that too, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, well,
it's cool that they had a stint of shows, I think.
It's snowing again.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome. I love it.
I hate it.
Very happy.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, well, they're doing the whole reunion
and it's like, oh, that's awesome, man. Like,
I hope it works out for them.
I think they were like, My Chemical Romance was like the cream of the crop emo band in my eyes. Like, they're just so fucking awesome. Like, super creative and like interesting. And,
I loved My Chemical Romance. I don't know if I would say they were the cream of the crop to me, but I certainly understand why someone would say that. Anyways, I do like
who's the creamiest for you?
I don't know. I have to think about that. But I was gonna say I do really like that this band's genres is they say climate core, because they talk about like climate change, and as you can see right here, they say like climate anxiety. I'll come back to the emo question probably after we're done talking about this band, and that'll give me more time to think. But yeah, this band is fucking cool. And of course, yeah, I do like anything relating to fucking you bitch. Sorry.
I feel like that's kind of neat. Like I get they're probably being. I mean, I get that they're being serious about climate stuff, but obviously it's kind of a facetious title to say, oh, we're climate core. But I kind of feel like that would be like, I feel like sometimes my music starts pushing in the direction of, definitely not like climate awareness, but definitely talking about like nature and how beautiful it is, and how much a tragedy it would be if it were, indelibly changed.
I just talk about death. Like that's, and it's funny because I say that, and I think most people naturally would be like, oh yeah, so you're one of those sad boys. It's like, not really. I talk about death in much more of like Like, oh hey, yeah. I don't really know how to like say it. I don't exclusively talk about death, but I do talk about death a lot. But it's more just like, I don't know. I just use like my music as my therapy, like things that I'm thinking about and things that I would want to put into words. I typically just put into lyrics. So yeah, when I'm thinking about like, you know, my friends and my family that have died, when I think about like people who I used to love and are no longer a part of my life, and whether that pisses me off or whether I feel guilty about that or whatever, like that's typically what I write about. But
I think you're what's wrong with Skyrim these days. Everyone is obsessed with death.
Yeah, sure.
Jesus Christ, I made a fucking Skyrim joke and it's 2020. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, you do listen to a lot of fucking Skyrim ambience.
Yeah, I do, man.
There's
Yeah,
nothing
I
wrong
do.
with that. It's pretty classic.
Classic.
Ding dong, ding dong,
This shit is
ding
coming on
dong.
10 years old. That is just crazy. Like, absolutely
Only?
nuts. What?
It's only 10 years old?
What, Skyrim?
Yeah.
It's creep. So yeah, November 11th, 2021. So yeah, I guess a couple
wow.
of years, but yeah,
So
it'll be
it came out in 2011. Wow. I thought it was older than that for some reason.
11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
11. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about 8.5 years old now.
Yes.
A little less, but
yeah.
roughly.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So yeah.
What were we talking about? Climate and how everything is fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Death and
Death.
whatnot.
Morbidity.
Yeah.
I love being morbid in my humor, in my songs, in my youth groups.
Yeah. I honestly
No,
find
no.
the thing I like.
I don't
I
know.
guess I just write. The thing I write the most about really is just like, it's like mountains. I just love mountains,
Yeah.
and like I love that. I don't know. Even just driving up to the Stewed.
Don't fucking call it that.
Oh yeah, says the guy who calls groceries grokes.
I do not either. I call grocery outlet grokeout. That is the one exception. I don't fucking. I've never said that before.
Oh my god.
Or have I? I don't know. Maybe I'm just not self-aware.
But
It's got some grokes.
yeah, pull out to the Stewed, and
Fucking Christ.
and you know it's just like it's it started snowing here this morning.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, snowy, beautiful clouds out in the distance, and it's just like the mountains look so peaceful and calm, and I just love it. I just find like that's what I like write about the most. I could see myself like
Damn.
writing post-hardcore like about just like really gentle
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, that's one of those funny things too, is that I think that like there's a connotation with more of these heavy genres that people seem to think that it's like all violent and dissonant, and that is so fucking far from the case. I mean, listen to this. This is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. This band kicks ass. I might have to buy this album. I really like that fucking album art too. If there's a shirt, I might have to fucking get that. That's fucking cool. Also, this band is from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm trying to see what their record label is from Canada.
Kill
I'm
the
trying to figure out
bugs
what Canada
by
is about.
causing
So they're
a loss
definitely
of
no
memory.
strangers to the snowiness.
System.
That's cool.
A loss of
Despite that, though, this album actually does have very little support. It's like 21 supporters, which granted, like, that may sound like a lot compared to what I usually say when I'm like, oh, this album doesn't have that much support, but, like, still doesn't really.
21
But
supporters isn't much at all.
no,
I mean,
no. But, I mean, to be fair, this album did just come out November 2019, but, like, you know, go pick it up. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have a good. They have a good boy sound. Well, I don't want to assume there's boys in the band, but you know, it's good sound.
Yeah. Yep. I like it. It's good. Fun.
You guys are coming to Seattle, fucking HMU. We'll come to a show. I'll get down. I'll get in the pit. I'll get pitted. Wait.
Get pitted like an olive.
And get pitted like an olive. I think that has a different connotation.
No way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I'll get in a pit for sure. I'll fucking waggle around like a fucking suffocating fish.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just lie on the ground, fucking doing the Holy Ghost. Go like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sponsors or fighters. Oh boy, this has been a good pick. This is a good list, I think, in general. I did a really good job picking this list, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Evan? You about ready to move on, though?
I think it's time to move on.
Think it's about time to move on?
If you want to finish the album, you go and buy it.
Yeah, go and buy it. It's $5, which is not a lot if you didn't know that.
But finish the list first. So finish listening to this episode.
What?
Well, I'm saying finish listening to this episode.
Don't listen to the
X
rest.
out of.
Do listen to the rest of this episode. Don't
X out
not
of,
listen to the rest of this episode.
Don't pause this podcast for any fucking reason.
All right.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Be right back, people. Okay, people, we are back with our second pick. The band is Parliament Owls. The album is Span is All That We Can Boast. I'm sorry for that burp. And not the title track, the first track, Coco Bolo. Also, somewhat few picks on this band, 41, which is, I mean, like, I wouldn't shake a stick at it, but, like, you know, certainly worth buying. Mm-hmm. This song, this sound is fucking sick, though. To me, like, when I look for post-hardcore, this is typically, like, what I'm looking for. And I'm not saying that last band wasn't. That last band is still very good. But to me, like, the best, like, post-hardcore... Well, my favorite post-hardcore bands were, like, At the Drive-In and The Fall of Troy. And, like, this reminds me a lot of The Fall of Troy. Not in a derivative sense, but just in, like, a nice, soft nostalgia sense.
Yeah, melodic and technical.
Listen to me. Yeah. These guys are from Toronto, Ontario. Sponsor us or fight us. I really need to stop saying that so fucking loosely. But, yeah, Toronto, Ontario. Shout out to the CA. And it's fucking sick. Nice melodic, technical, very pretty. The album artwork is fucking insane. Mm-hmm. It makes me want to bathe in fire in, like, the best way.
Yeah, fascinating. They got the aesthetic down to a T.
Yeah. And now I gotta come back to your fucking question that I didn't think about at all.
Oh.
What was my favorite emo band? Let me think about that. Why don't you just, like, go on a fucking Evan rant for a moment while I think about it? Because I did love My Chemical Romance, but I don't think I would say they were my favorite.
Yeah. Well, I would say they're your favorite, but, you know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, true.
Damn, the sun is creeping through. That's pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
Illuminating our humble little studio. So, yeah, anyways. Yes, Parliament Owls. This is super dope. Like I said, when I think, like, good post-hardcore, I definitely think, like, a nice equal measure of melodic and technical. And, like, it's got, like, the cool, like, technical shit, like, especially, like, in the like, chorus-y part. Yeah, the da-da-da-da. Like, you know, like, the fact that the rhythm keeps on changing is kind of like, you know, it's kind of like spasmatic. I don't know the word. I don't know words.
Spastic.
Plastic. And
Spasmatastaplastic.
So, phantasmagorical. But then, like, it's also like it's very much song oriented. So I like that. I always love when, like, a band can, like, play around with, like, being chaotic and jumping all over the place, but always have a sense of, like, bringing it back to just a simple song form. As much as I love just, you know, straight chaos, it's like, it's always nice when it's just, like, married with order. orderly chaos. So,
You know, I hate to say it for what it is. I think if I'm being honest, the band that at my high school self, that I would have been like, you know what? That had to have been my favorite emo band.
don't say it. I'm just joking. What?
Would have been Fall Out Boy.
I mean, I listened to a ridiculous amount of Fall Out Boy, so I mean, yeah.
But see, that's what I mean, is like, when I think of like, what did I listen to the most? Would have been, because I can think of bands that I remember that I really liked. I really liked Hawthorne Heights. I really liked Framing Hanley. I loved My Chemical Romance. But I think when like just sheer volume in like the bands that I would repeat over and over again, it had to have been Fall Out Boy. I listened to the fuck out of Fall Out Boy in high school. And maybe that's cringe to some people.
I saw Fall Out
right.
Boy.
I didn't. I never have. I did like Panic at the Disco for a stint, which is funny, right? Because I liked Panic at the Disco when they like first came out, and then I just really stopped listening to them up until like somewhat recently, and now their sound is so fucking different.
I can't believe that, yeah, that they're still like actually relevant to a
Not
degree.
only relevant, but they're like on like every fucking radio station. Because their hits now are like super poppy. Like, I hate to say it for what it is, and I might catch a lot of flack for this, but their career seems somewhat similar to like the career path that like Maroon 5 took.
Yeah.
Like Maroon 5's first couple of albums were like, a lot of people realized, and I know a lot of people now are going to hear this and be like, that's not true. But their first couple of albums were like really unique and really different, and a lot of people were really fucking into it.
It's
and
crazy
that
that
really
I still remember
spearheaded.
like Maroon 5's first album
Yeah.
coming out. That was like 2003 or 2004.
Yeah, it was really,
Holy
really long time
shit.
ago. And that shit really
Crazy.
spearheaded their career and gave them that unique sound. But they started getting... That would be the difference, I think, is that it took a while, I think, for Panic at the Disco to go pop-oriented. Maroon 5 went pop pretty fucking quick. And when they did, they just, like, never really looked back.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's definitely going to be some people that hear that and say, like, you're comparing Panic at the Disco sound to Maroon 5 sound. I am absolutely not doing that. I am somewhat loosely comparing their prolificness, the way that they, like, became. What's the way to word that? Not their timeline or anything, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm somewhat comparing their direction, but not their sound. They don't sound anywhat alike. In their pop sense, they don't sound alike. In their early sense, they don't sound anything alike. But the way that they evolved, there we go. Their evolution is somewhat similar.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Goodness gracious. I guess that was the terminus of that.
Yeah. The fucking, what?
That's where that train ended. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I
Maroon
guess
5's first album was pretty fucking cool, though. I can't fuck with them now, if I'm being honest. Like, all the shit that Adam Levine does now. I think he's a plenty good singer, and I might catch shit for that. That's okay. I think Adam Levine is a good singer. I just think the music they make now is like, who fucking cares? Like, every time I hear one of their songs, they'll be like, oh, did he do something cool? Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Guess
And
you
I do
can't.
like Brendan Urie a lot more than I like Adam Levine. So, Brendan Urie, if you're listening to this for whatever reason, hit me up.
Yeah.
Like that would ever
Yeah,
happen.
I saw like a compilation video of Panic at the Disco, like at recent shows being requested to play "I Write Sins Not Tragedies."
Yeah.
And him just like cringing backwards and just like, oh my god, here we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That song still gets play on the radio. Isn't that something? On 107.7 at least. The end.
Yeah. Well,
being
I mean,
said-
part of me wishes, I guess, that it's one thing to be like, oh man, that sucks that they just have to keep resting on their laurels. It's like, hey, I wish I would have written a song so good and catchy back in the day that I
hell yeah.
still make money off of it. Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah,
That being said, how fucking sick is this band?
the band is sick for sure.
If I put a thermometer in the mouth of this band, I would say it would probably come to 103 degrees because that shit is dangerously hot. Might need to go to a hospital. That's a really bad fever.
Yeah, I really like the production work. I think it's
Oh, yeah.
tight and on point. Yeah, I wonder where could you see like if this was where this was recorded?
What would you like?
Go down to the description or the information.
Yeah, bro. Are you going to be able to read that?
Yeah.
So this is your info. This is like thanks. God, that's badass. Hang on. Yeah, not really a description so much as like, well, I mean a literal description for sure. Like, hey, here's the band and everything that went into it, but none like, hey, let's talk about what this music is.
Yeah,
which that's
obviously.
fine by me, by all means.
Yeah, Toronto. I mean, obviously has a great pedigree for
fuck,
music
yeah,
production, music studios.
absolutely. Well, I mean, a lot of good
shit.
music I think comes out of Ontario in general.
Yep.
For sure. I'm sure we've listed several good. That's one thing, like, I can't ever remember fucking places that bands are from. Like, I'll remember names, I'll remember songs, I'll remember fucking albums sometimes, but, like, areas, I have a hard time remembering. But I feel like Ontario, and probably Toronto specifically, we've had several good bands that we've listed throughout the fucking years now come through this show.
Yeah, Canada's just lucky we let them live.
Canada's lucky we don't send our fucking our commander in briefs at them.
Oh man.
Jesus Christ! I was just in Canada. You know that. I was in Canada last weekend, so almost like 4 or 5 days ago.
What part?
I was in Victoria, British Columbia, with my good friends Mark and Megan. Shout out to Mark and Megan. What's up? Thanks for keeping my ass alive for a couple of days.
Isn't
me a place
this
to
like the
stay.
second time you've been to Victoria in the past like 6 months or something?
No, I haven't been to Victoria since I was a fucking child.
Shouldn't you just
I
like
haven't
go to
even been
Canada?
to Canada recently.
Really? Oh, I guess maybe you
The last time I think I went to Vancouver was with you,
yeah.
and that was a while ago. I think. I've been to Canada in a while, bro.
I just I remember yeah. Well, I guess maybe you'd been talking about it for a while, and then like I think you
Yeah,
might
I have been talking
canceled
about it for a
or something.
while. Yeah,
You might have, like,
that
canceled
is a
it.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been that long since I've been to Portland too, so that might be a bit of a mix-up. I'm not sure, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, I went to Victoria. It was pretty cool. I didn't have any beaver tails. I would have liked to. Those are fucking delicious. Have you ever had a beaver tail?
Hell no.
Do you know what those are even?
No.
Have you ever had an elephant ear?
No.
You ever had what about like a funnel cake?
An enema?
A funnel cake? How did you get enema out of funnel cake?
Well, you said enema. Have you had a funnel cake? Yeah, I've had a funnel cake.
All right, so if you take a funnel cake, right?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, realistically, in my opinion, the biggest difference between like a funnel cake and an elephant ear is where funnel cakes have like varying thickness and then they have like holes in them and shit. Elephant ears don't. They're like very flat and like pancakey, but it's like the same type of dough, still fried.
Oh, I thought you meant just like eating a cake through a funnel. Because I do that like frequently.
Yeah, I've watched you do it. Fucking asshole. An elephant ear is kind of like that. A beaver tail is like that, but more shaped like a beaver's tail, so it's a lot smaller than an elephant. Well, it's about this big. You can see where I'm. What do you think of that?
Ooh,
It's probably about a little bit bigger than the size of your shoe. But the thing with a beaver tail that's a little bit different you typically see is that they have a lot more options for toppings than you'll see for most funnel cakes or elephant ears. So it'll be like, oh yeah, you want this covered in like peanut butter and Nutella and M&Ms or whatever. Yeah. And or like you want cinnamon and sugar or like, you know, whatever. Like they're fucking good. But yeah, they're kind of similar to like funnel cakes. But the big thing is where we have funnel cakes typically only at like fairs, they have just like beaver tail stands. Here's one thing I'll say I really like about Canada, at least British Columbia, which is pretty much exclusively what I'm familiar with Canada. I really enjoy that while they have a lot of the fast food options that we do, they have a lot more healthy alternatives that are very accessible. There's like a ton of fucking like tandoori chicken places and shit. Like there's a lot, and falafel and shit. There's a lot more like options for relatively convenient food that is considerably healthier than what you get in the States. Because, you know, they give a shit about their health in Canada and their healthcare and everything, which obviously we don't too much.
yeah.
But
which makes me think, because I remember you said yesterday that they don't allow menthol cigarettes, like they're illegal or whatever.
Correct.
And I'm like, good on them, man. I just like the more I think about.
I wouldn't be that upset if we banned tobacco outright.
Yeah.
In the States,
Oh, absolutely. Because I just
It'll
think
never
about,
happen.
'cause I mean,
I wouldn't
yeah. I
mind.
mean, I know, of course, yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, I used to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, I did too.
And it's just like it's
Don't
something
anymore.
that I think about like frequently, and I'm just like, it's one of those things where it's like, what fucking purpose does it serve?
Yep,
It serves
absolutely.
absolutely no purpose. You become addicted to a thing where it's just like you go to a gas station and say, hey, I want that pack of just shit that will just kill me and make it harder to breathe and make my skin look pale.
Well, that's
and
the thing that's
sallow
funny is
and
that, like,
make my teeth turn yellow.
Of
and-
course, there's the argument that it's like, well, yeah, but tobacco, like, actually, you know, it does a lot to, like, calm nerves and, like, make you, like, reduce anxiety and everything. It's like, yeah, it's true, but most of the anxiety that it reduces is caused by not doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, maybe
exactly.
the very first time you do it, it will have a slight positive benefit, but then the addiction from not fucking doing it causes more of that problem.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I say I'm just like, you know, I hear that they ban mentholated cigarettes. I'm like, man, that's awesome. That's like a good first step into
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just making that shit just like go away. Just tobacco companies. I just think about the idea of a big tobacco company just making this shit that's just made to kill people.
I mean, how fucking
It's fucking
apropos is
mind-blowing.
that for American consumerism and fucking capitalism in general, though? That's the big thing. That it's like most of the way the company operates are just specifically designated to how much money can we make regardless of what the outcome is. And I think fucking big tobacco is such a fucking epitome of that idea that it's just like, well, we're making a ton of money. What is it that we're profiting off of? Literally creating addicts and killing people? All right, fuck them.
Yeah.
And
then
I mean, I just think that's such a nice euphemism for American consumerism.
Yeah, and I think that the next. So obviously vaping. Now vaping is getting, you know, a lot of people are coming after that, and that's great.
Yeah.
But then I think the next big thing is going to be big energy drink companies. Like they are the next because they're the way they're growing and the way they're just subtly like and deceptively marketing towards young.
I could talk about
children.
that for fucking 2 hours because I honestly, and I know like a lot of people may have odds with me saying this. I am much more disgusted by them than I am big tobacco. And I know ultimately, like, the big idea is that it's like, yeah, but like caffeine isn't designed to kill people, whereas like that's all that fucking tobacco is doing is making you sick and killing you. I understand that, but there is a lot of negative PR towards tobacco. Like, I don't know if there's a person over the age of like 13 that doesn't know that tobacco is bad for you. Like, yeah, I know I shouldn't, but I still do anyways, and that's their adult decision. The normalization of caffeine in our country is fucking insane. Like, the idea that it's like, well, this is a totally fine thing to put in your body.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You're
not
right.
a
Yeah,
stimulant. It's not a drug.
When you go to the gas station, you see all the cigarettes behind the counter. You know that like that's a bad thing. You shouldn't do.
Right.
But you go
don't
through the
think about when you
Starbucks
get
drive-through.
coffee.
You're like, it's like, oh yeah, hey, I'll get a cup of Starbucks, or hey, I'll go buy that energy drink from the grocery store.
You don't think
hey.
that caffeine actually is kind of slowly killing you too? It does not have like really any very important
Well, the
effect
fact that
other
it's
than
in
making
fucking
you more
everything.
awake.
Every
And it's in
goddamn thing
fucking
you drink.
everything. It is
It's
in
like
everything.
My kids like to fucking get a hold of the fucking Dr. Pepper and just
Yep.
guzzle it down. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh yeah, that's got actually a lot of caffeine in it, especially for young children.
Caffeine is fucking disgusting. But that's my big thing is like that's the part that I'm so at fucking odds with is not that people want to use it. That's fine because we could talk about that. Like, people like smoking. That's fine. You're an adult. That's your decision. But people have like,
and it does make you cool. So there's that part of it too.
There's such a normalization to caffeine that if you talk about the idea of like, yeah, caffeine's like actually not good for you and you probably shouldn't consume a whole lot of it. People are like, wow, where is that coming from? Like, obvious science that's all over the place. Like the fact that if you don't have it, you feel like shit. There's a lot of fucking reasons that should be very obvious to point out that caffeine is very not good for you.
It's interesting too, because like, I mean,
it's such a staple.
Yeah.
Oh, it fucking pisses me off.
I know. It's like, it's the thing too where it sucks because I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I'm addicted to caffeine like crazy.
Yeah. I have a really, really in and out addiction with it. Like right now I have a problem, but in a couple of weeks I'll probably go completely off of it again.
Yeah, I managed like about a year ago, I managed to quit for about a month, I guess.
I've been off of it for like a couple of months up until a couple of weeks ago. I just really needed to get shit done, and I was just tired a lot.
Yeah, but I think the thing that sucks like lately is that like it's one thing to like drink a cup of coffee that you brewed at home, and it's another thing to drink a fucking Bang or a Monster.
Yeah.
And I find that like I am addicted to the taste of like energy drinks now, and like I don't enjoy drinking like a just home brewed.
Well, a huge part of the fucking
cup of coffee, which is a shame.
A huge part of the energy drinks thing too isn't even the caffeine. It's like all the sugar, which Bang doesn't have any of that. All right, fine.
Well, still got chemicals that are not.
But right,
good
I was
for
gonna
you.
say, but it's all of the other shit.
So
too
I won't get
that is
fat
a
drinking it, but I'll get cancer drinking it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, anyways.
but to be fair, Bang does have CoQ10 in it, so when it does overload you on caffeine and starts working your heart out really hard, at least it does have CoQ10 to make your heart healthier as well.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm sure negligible by the damage that you're doing, but
yeah, and it's just the fact that it's a copious amount of caffeine, and it's just like
it is a ridiculous amount of caffeine.
Not only should you not be drinking caffeine at all, you don't need it, but 300 milligrams for like an 18-year-old, like who weighs 130
Dude, consider
pounds
too. I started drinking
crap.
fucking energy drinks, I think, when I was like 14, and that's not uncommon. So to think like, oh yeah, a young, growing, developing child drinking like insane amounts of caffeine, like you're gonna have issues when you become a young adult.
Yeah, it's disturbing because we have like medical science is getting more and more advanced all the time, and people who are like like toddlers and young children nowadays are in the generation that's probably going to live the longest due to medical advancements, but also is probably most prone to getting addicted to energy drinks and other addictive bullshit.
Yeah.
that's gonna like.
I just think
prematurely
we should
kill
just
them.
legalize cocaine already. I'm for that.
Yeah,
I
enough
mean,
of
not
prohibition
heroin,
on
but-
cocaine.
Yeah,
Come on, this
seriously.
prohibition has been going on too long. It's the 20s, so you know.
Yeah, it's the Roaring 20s. It's the Roaring 20s.
Got the prohibition on
Yeah.
on stuff, but you know, post-hardcore is great. So.
Yep, there we go. And we're
And we
back.
bring it all back.
Yeah, that was a long fucking rant that was probably unnecessary, but
Hey.
I was in Canada. That's how we fucking started all of this. I was in Victoria. I find a lot of things about your country, Canada, very interesting. Mostly good. I do think Canada Tire is a little strange, but of course that's just because I'm just not used to it. But it's a cool store, but like it's just a little odd.
Tim Hortons is all right.
Tim Hortons is all right. Tim Hortons is probably the best fucking coffee option around. Tim Hortons is like what Dunkin' Donuts wishes it was, and to me, Dunkin' Donuts is a way better version of Starbucks than Starbucks. And granted, Dunkin's been around a lot longer than fucking Starbucks. So in my opinion, if you take all three of those, I'll fucking take Tim Hortons any day.
Yeah.
You have to, and I mean you absolutely must try the fucking Beyond Meat breakfast sandwich at Tim Hortons. You have to. It's so fucking good. It's one of the best breakfast sandwiches I've had. And it's fast food.
Yeah.
That's another thing I'd really fucking love to see before I'm an old man is the massive decrease of fast food. But that'll probably never happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Evan!
Dude.
You got ready to move on or what?
Yeah. I think
Are
so.
you sure?
Yes.
So thank you so much, Parliament Owls. Hit us up if you're ever in Seattle and you want a nice glass of or a mug of herbal tea.
Yeah.
We'll get together. We'll do
Yeah.
it.
Let's have an energy drink together.
Let's have an energy drink. Let's have a few lines. Maybe a fucking bottle of absinthe. I got a nice bottle of absinthe while I was up there, so I'll share. Anyways, on to the next pick. Okay, people, we're back with our last pick. I can't fucking keep that up. I'd love to, but like it is gonna take me a long time. Band is called I think it's Dronte. They are French. I have no fucking idea how to pronounce that album. Evan, if you want to try, but before we do that, let's start playing their first track, Champion en Série, I believe. Again, French, and I am not French, so Evan, you want to try and read that out?
Well, I rode the metro, so I think I understand French pretty well in and out. Quelque part entre la guerre et
Lachette.
Lachette.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean-
hopefully.
It sounded French, but I have no idea. This fucking album slaps, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
this
cool.
is-
That's a saxophone, by the way, that I'm hearing. Got a lot of cool instruments going on here.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah, it's really cool to hear like a neat regional take on post-hardcore. Because typically, I think post-hardcore. I really think
I don't think of marimbas.
Well, and I don't think French. I think like
I don't
American,
think either.
particularly like Midwest American.
Yep. Yep.
And
Which
like,
is funny because our first pick was that, and our last pick was pretty close to that. Because despite the fact they were in the States, they're just above it.
Toronto.
Yeah, this shit is fucking cool. I love this.
Well, I mean, Toronto is like what? That's Great Lake. Yeah, so that's
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's what
yeah,
I'm
it's
saying,
basically
it's
West.
basically Midwest America.
There's something about the Great Lakes that just stirs up emotion.
Well, that's what, and you know, it's funny too. I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying like something from the United States is American, because like that disqualifies North America and South America
United
from
States
being
Union.
America. Well, I say like I'll say like stateside or something like that.
The motherland.
Okay. But like, yeah, I'll be like, yeah, that's so like apropos of the states or something like that. Or like, yeah, well, you know, this thing we have back stateside, you know, shit like that. Because, yeah, like Canada's plenty American. It's just not United States of American. Mm-hmm. It's its own type of American. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, if you call it North America, it's like, well, but the States are North America. God, can't fucking win.
Can't win. But you can win against the French.
Are you sure that's what you want to go with?
You're going to get sued by the French.
Yeah. Hey, to France, do not sponsor us or fight us. Let's go with fight.
I think I could hold my own against France.
I'm gonna fucking stay out of this. Like, this is he is not being representative of myself. He's not being representative of the podcast. What he is saying in his shit talking of France is purely on the head of Evan Halfmann.
I love Francais. I do.
I've never been to France, but I'd really like to go. I think I said that in the last podcast.
Yep.
I said it recently, at least.
I've been to Francais. I've also been under Francais.
I don't care.
Been under Francais.
Why?
English Channel.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, you know, I know France in and out.
I like your guys' fries.
Yeah.
You know, the first French fry wasn't made in France.
Yeah.
It's made in Greece.
Oh my God, you're sick. That's illegal.
Well, I figured you being a dad, you'd appreciate the dad humor.
That's a good one. Fuck, I'm gonna use that now. Actually,
It's actually really fucking dumb.
you know, because like, yeah, at my work, there's this like guy who I see every couple of weeks, and he's like, hey, like, you got any good jokes? Because he's like one of those jokester guys, and I'm like, honestly, no, I'm not like a joke person. I don't have like this cache of jokes in my head that I can just use at any time, like a fucking like a Rolodex. But honestly, like, that's a good quick one, and obviously very safe for work.
Let's see if I can.
There are a couple I can think
Let's
of
see if
that
I
are
can.
not safe.
Yeah,
for
I was
work.
gonna say. Speaking of not safe for work, let's see if I can remember to put a censorship in. He's just like, you got any good jokes for me? Be like, yeah. So, these two nuns are rubbing their. You just like start that out. You'd be like, all right, I don't want to hear the rest of this.
Oh, no, don't worry. That was the whole joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the
worry.
punchline. But
That'll be really bad if I forget to censor that out. It's not like anything too bad, but like I don't think the internet would like it.
yes, I think this music is really interesting and unique, and just like the inclusion of like all the acoustic instrumentation is like just so like signature, such a signature of like French personality.
Yeah.
And just like the language that they're speaking in is just reminds me of French. So. Yeah. There's just something about it that just has a French quality to it. I would argue that the best French instrument is the language.
Oh my God.
I guess that actually is like maybe a good statement. I guess it's like I think the last thing I just said there maybe actually was had a dash of wisdom. The other things were just stupid. Unequivocally stupid. But hey, that's alright. I'm making an ass out of myself.
I actually had to step away from the microphone so I didn't fucking.
What are you, Tezonde?
I step away from the microphone when I breathe. I did the thing. You guys can't see it, but maybe someday.
He did. I saw him do the thing. Tezonde, sponsor us and fight us.
Chocolate rain.
I'd be sick if Tezonde actually sponsored us and then fought us. And then fighted us.
Right. You're going to. I wish I could do his voice. I can't get that deep right now. If I had like just woken up, I could probably do a Tezonde, but my fucking vocal cords are so slack when I wake up.
Actually, honestly, wouldn't mind if Dramatic Gopher actually sponsored us and
dun
us.
dun dun. Wait, that's not what it is. Like dun dun dun. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
la taloche facile.
Let's just fucking listen to this music for a minute.
Dans ta gueule.
Facile. I think facile means
Qui
easy.
monte,
I don't know, but I said let's be quiet and listen to this music.
ça fait sismographe.
I'm gonna have to take you into the punishment room later.
Par la fenêtre ouverte.
Des oubliettes.
Jesus pissing Christ!
Fermez les yeux. Sautez par la fenêtre ouverte. Passe le bruit d'une ambulance. Surface bitumée, couverte du corps fendu par le choc. Passe l'ambulance.
Yeah, shit's cool.
Pour le
D'accord means okay.
la victime.
I don't really know that much French.
Comme la mort.
I just know enough to know that you're wrong.
D'accord.
Oh boy. Wow. Evan, you pet any good dogs recently?
Yes. Wow.
I pet Darion yesterday.
That's right. Little good. He's an oldie but goodie.
Little D, as they call him. He's got blueberry eyes.
Yeah. He's a little cute boy.
Yeah, a little cute boy. A little cute stink, that one is.
He is a little sting.
Whew.
I think this sound to me like kind of proves something that I've thought for a long time, and that is that acoustic guitars are just as heavy, if not more heavy, than electric, heavy, overdriven electric guitars. I think acoustic guitars just have just a natural punch that electric instrumentation just can't really touch without extreme assistance.
Well, okay, yeah. I was like, I really don't know if I agree with you. But when you added that last statement, I'm like, yep, yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you took an electric guitar, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Is if you took an electric guitar and played it through a clean channel, for sure, your acoustic guitar is going to be heavier. It's just going to sound heavier. If you put distortion on, I think they're kind of getting to a somewhat equal level. But yeah, it's when you drive the shit out of your guitar, you down tune it and everything. It's that's your electric guitar. In my opinion, it's gonna sound heavier.
Well, and what I'm saying is take take an Ibanez, whatever, the whatever, just some metal, got metal humbuckers in it or something.
Yeah.
And then plug it into a JCM 800, and dial it up to fucking, to 8 on the gain, and then turn up the master to
I never turn my gain that high anymore. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, yeah, or turn it to whatever.
Yeah, crank the volume, add some fucking bass,
and then just fret an E chord and just let it play, and it's okay, heavy, thick, crunchy. It's gonna be great. It's gonna sound good in a band context and whatnot. But I mean, then go pick up a Gibson J45, Dreadnought, and just do the same thing with an E chord and just slam it with a pick, and it just the natural growl to me is so much. And of course, I totally understand it's a very subjective thing, but to me, that natural growl of the wood reverberating and projecting in front of you is just so much more powerful and heavy than a thick,
I wonder
growly.
I wonder if you could somewhat simulate that by putting bronze strings on an electric guitar.
Maybe.
'Cause I know part of it is obviously the environment of the guitar itself that's creating that tone and the ambience, but yeah.
And all that being said, I mean, obviously the electric guitar can do so fucking much more than an acoustic guitar ever could.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, and then with a trace of actual assistance, you can actually get an electric guitar to sound to go to any universe you want, and you can take it to the stratosphere easily. But yeah, something about acoustic guitar, especially with the fact that acoustic instruments are really just all about dynamics. I mean, at any moment you can be playing softly and quietly and beautiful, clean, and then just slam on it, and it becomes huge.
This dude screaming reminds me so much of fucking, and I know you said it first, but you've stolen my comments a few times, so suck on that. It reminds me so much of fucking early Opeth.
Yep.
Which is a phenomenal thing.
Absolutely.
I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But it's like, no, that's about as cool as you get when it comes to screaming and growling.
Yeah. What do you think about the new Opeth?
I haven't listened to it yet. I would like to, but I haven't. But here's the thing.
I don't know how to feel.
I listened to it. Well, I'm pretty sure when it first came out, you're like, oh, it's great. But
I mean, it's one of those things, though. It's just like their last 4 albums. It's like I hear the first couple songs, and I'm like, this is going to be promising, and I'm really going to be happy when it comes out.
Yeah.
And it just kind of doesn't deliver. It just... I still feel like they're floating around trying to find their new identity.
Here's the thing.
Like,
absolutely.
Like a decade, more than a decade after
Watershed
came out.
So here's my thing. Heritage. I liked a couple of songs maybe off of Heritage. Overall, I hated that fucking album.
It was an awkward album. That was
awkward to say the least.
That was their first like step off of like their comfortable island where they had their main sound.
And it's funny because I now that you've said that, I do feel the same way, because like every time they're like, oh, check out this is the single from the album, I'll listen to it and be like, wow, this is really good. And then I listen to the album and I'm like, this single was good. Yeah. The rest of the album, like, what the fuck are you doing?
I feel like a lot of the times it's like spitballing there. They're really just trying to find something that sticks.
So, like, to me, when I heard, like, The Devil's Orchard off of Heritage, I was like, wow, that is badass. And I remember, the whole, like, God is dead. God is dead. I was like, man, this is fucking sick. And then fucking Eternal Rains Will Come off of Pale Communion was badass and still is. But the whole rest of the album, it feels like there's songs that feel like they're like fucking Pink Floyd clones almost to me. And I'm like, what is this?
I know. And then
Sorceress. I can't even remember a song from Sorceress.
The title track, I think.
Yeah. And it was like, all right.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've heard anything from the new album just because I just didn't want to be fucking disappointed again.
I think they took a creative step in their new album that I think is just fucking awesome.
Don't worry about it.
That I think is just awesome. It's interesting to me that it took so long for them to have the sort of audacity to like, but it's a Swedish language album.
I just want Ghost Reveries back.
But they also have, they also did an English language version of the album, so that's so bold in its own way. But of course, the Swedish language version is interesting because you actually get to really hear Michael Åkerfeldt speak in his mother tongue.
Do you mean Lars?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
In his mother tongue, and I think that's so interesting, especially because
it is.
The lyrics were primarily written. He had to sort of force it in with English, and so it's just like, really listen to the Swedish version to get the natural feel. But that being said, it's like it's just, in a word, it's underwhelming, and it's a good album. And it's Opeth, but it's still like they can't find their identity.
Well, and see, that's the thing that I hate so much is that, one, I completely agree with you, but I feel like they had their identity. They had it, and it was so perfect for so long. And now they're on this campaign to find a new one, and they're like, nothing just really fits. And it's like, I think nothing really fits because you were already in the right and gave that away.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is gonna sound fully right after that. And like that's my funny thing is I can't think of a band, and I'm sure there's several, and I just literally can't think of them right now. I can't think of a band that has done what they're doing successfully. where they're like, we're gonna decide to just radically change our sound to like being almost a completely different band with just vague semblances of what we originally did, and then like that'll work out.
Yeah, and I mean, this might be an opinion that a lot of people might disagree with, but I don't think there's honestly much of anything wrong with a band resting on their laurels if they know their identity like to the core.
Yeah.
If they know what they're doing and they have, like, I think of like Built to Spill, like all their albums sound the same, but they are so good at their sound that they shouldn't change. And I think about like the National, their sound is so refined that there's no reason for them to like try to find some new sound to surprise people. And so for me, like that was like, that's Opeth's like identity crisis. I feel like, and I think of like the first track from their new album. I think about the fact that it has like, of course it has Mellotron, because you know every Opeth album has to have start out with Mellotron, and then it has like this electronic thing where it's like, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, did you just pick up an electronic like a synthesizer or sequencer just to say, oh hey, let's try that? It just feels so random, and it doesn't make sense, and yeah.
Just to go on record, for Water Championship Hood of 2020, I have gone through a half a bottle of water. Evan is cracking his second bottle of water. So either he's a really thirsty boy, or he is in hard contention for contention. You know what I mean? For Water Champion.
I put him away.
Yeah,
I put him away.
Sure enough.
I put that agua away, bro.
I'd like to finish one bottle by the end of the podcast, but yeah, you're a good way in your.
I put away that
now.
dihydrogen fucking monoxide like it is no one's business. All right.
I do really like this music though. Like, I know it's been a minute since we talked about it.
Did this start over?
No, this was so. What we listened to when we were listening earlier was it started from track 4.
Oh.
And that's what we just got to finish, and then now we're on to track 5. Also, there's a video for track 4. I'm guessing that's what this is right here, so we can go back and watch that later if you want when we're done.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and honestly, like the identity of this band, it, like when I say it sounds like French in its identity, like, I mean, I'm not like even like being presumptuous or anything, because it's like it reminds me of Tabor. It reminds me of
Tabor. What's Tabor?
I think that was his name, wasn't it?
Your friend
Thomas Auberge. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I think you're right. I was like, God, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it reminds me of his work,
cool.
and like his stuff is like really big on like.
Maybe we could do a list on French someday.
Yeah,
we could totally include him.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, like that would be like an extra inclusion, and we'll have.
I'd be totally happy for that to be. An honorable mention.
Right,
but
yeah, like when we included not Santa Oberwin, our friend Obsidian Needle.
Yes.
In the last, good lord, dark ambient list we did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, did I tell you how I totally fucking blew our load with the last podcast? I titled it Folk 2, this time it's Melancholy. And I was just thinking, wow, I really, really should have saved that joke for Jazz 2. Because I should have done Jazz 2, this time it's personal. Like Jaws 2.
Holy crap. Is that what Jaws 2 is called?
Was it not? Isn't that like the joke, or am I thinking of something else?
I have no idea. This is something that I've always said, but I've never known like where it actually came from.
I think that
I just always assumed because it was like, oh, sequels of movies were like oh, but this time the stakes are higher and it's more personal.
Yeah, Jaws the Revenge had the tagline, this time it's personal.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it should have been
yeah.
Jazz,
Damn
too.
it.
This time it's personal.
Well, it's okay. You can make the same joke again and people won't mind.
Oh, so we'll see. We'll see.
It's like when I see, when it's like, sometimes like when it's like July 4th, I'll see people be like, May the 4th be with you. It's like, oh, shut the fuck up.
In July.
And I'm like, you realize that there's already a Star Wars Day on May 4th?
Yeah, true.
It's like, oh, come on. Silly.
By the way, if you get to a point of drinking a third bottle of water, I'm not giving you one. I did finish mine, though, so yeah, hell yeah. Hydrate or dihydrate, you know what I mean? Although, then again, this is purified water, which is, like, not awesome for you, so don't sponsor us, Aquafina, because I'm talking shit about your water. It makes it easier to drink, though, but, you know. At what cost? Anyways. Man, I think I'm about tapped, people. I'm tapped like a fucking party keg. What do you think, Edward?
Tapped like a basic mountain.
Oh my god. I'm tapped like 3 land for 3 mana. Fucking nerd. Wow, that took me by surprise a little bit somehow. You know, people, we've had a lot of fun today. Evan shot heroin into his eye. It was fucking something. I watched. His eye is literally turning fucking black and like necrotic.
My eyes are red, my teeth are green. Merry fucking Christmas.
I don't know if I'm gonna top that. Oh boy. You know, all of the standards. Don't smoke meth. Don't abduct children as they're coming off of their fucking school buses. Like, wait until they get at least halfway home. Like, don't abduct children. Like, that's fucked up in general. Like, do not do that. If you do, you're a fucking garbage person and you belong in hell prison.
Hey, what's wrong with garbage people? They do fucking good work.
That's true. Well, but that's, yeah. I'm trying to find the way to argue that, but I don't think I really can.
It's a dirty job and someone's got to do it.
If you read, make sure you don't read in low light because that's bad for your eyes. But if you don't have to read, then don't.
Also, yeah, don't be on your phone past 9 o'clock or so, you know.
Or at least if you are, put the blue light filter on.
Yeah.
If you see Super Mario doing plumbing work, don't ask him to go into the pipe. He's probably tired of it. That's probably how he got to work in the first place.
Jesus Christ.
But do toss a coin to your Witcher. Bye, people.
Bye.